few weeks before the World Championships, I said this deck was, well, absolute trash. This deck is not gonna make top 8. It's not a good deck. A few days later, I tweeted there's no way I'd ever bring that deck to Worlds. So obviously, I showed up at the first ever Ultraman card game World Championships with both of them in my bag. This is the story of how I changed my mind, kind of ate my words, and put the US and our Gardeno Games channel on the map. So I qualified for the Ultraman card game World Championships in Tokyo, Japan. 140 of the best players around the globe, one title, and a slot I learned back at the New York qualifiers way back in October 2024. So look, I'm not gonna pretend I flew out there for a participation promo. We want to win, we want to take everything down, and we talk a lot about Ultraman card game here on the channel, and I'd like to prove that we actually know what we're talking about a little bit. But before getting to any of that, we gotta solve one problem first. We needed to pick a deck, and I'm kind of the guy that has a hard time picking a decks. Ultraman Worlds is extra tough. It requires picking 2 decks in 2-deck format. Not only do I have to pick 2, I have to get good enough with both of them to win. And to make matters a little bit worse, Ultraman card game is a very niche game. That means there's barely any metadata out there. There's no tournament results to copy off, no streams to watch. We at our Gardeno Games, we basically had to build the meta essentially ourselves, and then pick the best decks, and then pray that we're kind of on the same page and we haven't totally miscalculated. And of course, we can get some results from Japan, but a lot of it was done in-house. A lot of it was done by ourselves. And the cherry on top of this all is we only had like 1 month to really figure it all out. Set 7 dropped in late April, and the World Championships was the beginning of May, and we got to travel and practice. We really open the cards too, get the cards. We only had like 4 real weeks to figure out everything. So we gotta get to testing. Step 1, we gotta figure out the meta. Our best data is a mix of, what we do by ourselves and also watching Japan results roll in. And there was 3 decks that kept rising their way up to the top. G, that's a flexible, aggressive deck that can really play into anything, and if it gets a good hand, it's just gonna absolutely steamroll you. We've got Gaia, a Ghoul, the craziest combo deck known to Ultraman card game. A little bit tricky to pilot, but it has some, honestly, basically unbeatable god hands. But the trade-off is you have some absolutely horrible, unplayable hands to go along with it. And the third deck was Tiga Blazar, the deck that never dies. It's been around since set 1, and it's loaded with a ton of versatility, flexible options. You can really play around any matchup, and it's a tough deck to pilot, but you can do so much with that deck. There's a reason it's still everywhere. But fortunately, or fortunately, those aren't the only 3 decks that we're talking about. This is a bit of what some would call a jungle meta, meaning there's probably like 8 decks that are genuinely viable, and we have to pick 2 of them, and then ideally we learn all 8 matchups for each of them. That's brutal. Tier lists start coming out from Japan. Shout out to Akatsuki, a Japanese world qualifier, did a tier list video with UCG Fun Club, and they have a lot more local insights, so it's interesting to see. And a lot of it lined up with our tier list we did at Gardeno Games, but they rated Decker higher than I did because they take into account the popularity. Like I said, Decker was pretty popular in Japan. And they threw in some decks that I hadn't tested, like Dyna. And to be honest, he tweeted out, he said a lot of overseas players he think would bring Dyna. And I didn't feel good about that deck. I mean, it hadn't been really strong in a while. So I tweeted, there was no way I was going to bring Dyna to Worlds. Okay, now that we talked about the meta, we got to narrow it down. Their top 3 are pretty obvious considerations for what deck we're going to pick, but I had to weigh everything. Let's look at the criteria for what we're looking for in a deck. 1, this seems kind of obvious. It has to be able to compete with the top decks. Like, I'm not going to play something that's too weak or has too many weak matchups. Number 2, it has to be able to play flexibly. I want to be able to adapt to my opponent, or capitalize on their awkward hands, or put them in awkward spots. And number 3, I really want a consistent deck. It cannot have brick hands. It's going to be a long tournament, and I refuse to lose rounds myself. You're probably gonna drop a few rounds just from like general variance no matter what. So you cannot afford to gift away another one for dead draws or like things like that. So this is, Gaia Ghoul is off the list for me because you're gonna lose more games to yourself than you really can afford, at least in my opinion. So we had to start testing. I put a lot of time into Trigger Dark. I thought that deck was an absolute standout deck from the beginning, but unfortunately it does not pass criteria number 2. It's strong, but it always plays the best move. It plays a kind of a standard set plan, and when you're playing versus other decks that have that flexibility, you're putting out something and they get to choose to react. Whether or not they can actually do that is not really up to you. So I didn't like it. It was good, but it just felt a little off. So I kept going back to it because I was like, man, it's so powerful, but it just doesn't have that flexibility that I felt like I really needed. So we went back to the deck I call Trash Belial Zeton. Now the thing with Belial Zeton, the reason why I keep going back to it is because instead of trying to win completely off of coin flips. So we swapped to this version of the deck and the gears were moving. The ratios were just right. And it felt real good. So the deck that I swore was trash turned into an absolute killer. So let's talk about exactly why that is. Mainly, it's for Zeton. The deck, if you've been around in New York, you play the deck because Zeton is so good. Promo Zeton is absolutely insane. It wrecks single hero decks, which is going to be Jeed, it's going to be Omega, and it's going to be Blazar 3 decks. Check. The card is absolutely insane. We also have the anti-BP grade up Zeton, which is going to kill Trigger Dark, and it's going to kill Decker, and it also makes Jeed's life a little bit uncomfortable. So that's 5 decks out of the 8 we're covering. Absolutely crazy. And the last Zeton that we just got kills monotype decks. And there's not a lot of monotype decks, but Tiga Blazar and Gaia Ghoul are very close to monotype decks, which means that monotype Zeton can punish them. So that's like 7 of the decks besides Belial Zeton itself. Basically every deck other than Belial Zeton itself, Zeton has like a decent chance of like ruining their day. So that's the energy we're looking for. We lock in deck number 1, Belial Zeton. But here's the tough part. I practiced Belial Zeton, I felt good about it. Well, we only have 2 weeks left now to find deck number 2, and I'd hoped that we'd have both by now, realistically. But we gotta keep hunting. Like, keep trying Trigger Dark. Like, it was powerful, but it doesn't quite feel right. For the top decks, Jeed, I think I feel fine with. I never felt that comfortable with the deck to begin with, so I'm fine not doing Jeed. Gaia, like I mentioned, it's way too inconsistent for my taste. And then we've got Tiga Blazar. It's strong, it's got good matchups against the top decks, but I personally am not that comfortable with it. I haven't been playing it that long, and there's people like Gankun who have been playing it since like set 1. Honestly, I'll play it if nothing else shows up, but it feels like it needs the high roll a little bit to beat the field. And that's really what became the whole problem. The more I played the top 3 decks against each other, the more it felt like they were all kind of just high rolling each other instead of outplaying each other. And whoever draws better wins just didn't sit right with me. So 1 week left for the World Championships. Nothing has really changed here. I still didn't know my second deck, but the thing you do when you run out of time, because it's the last week, I gotta fly out this week. I packed up my Tiga cards, I packed up Trigger Dark, and I said, we're just gonna have to wing it. And that was my plan, wing it. At the World Championships for Ultraman card game. Cool, great. So excited about that, yeah. So the morning, I'm about to fly to Japan. I open up Twitter, and I see this post. I won my Galaxy Cup with Dyna Arc. And he named this deck like, this guy meta ain't nothing. Guy ain't all that. And I just flop. Oh, is this the secret sauce? I have no time left. Literally, we're gonna go to the airport in like 30 minutes. So I got all my cards. I threw them in my bag, totally unsleeved, and I figured I'll just sort it out on the plane or something. So let's break down why Dyna Arc is so strong. It all revolves around the Dyna triple rare. that lets you destroy your own scene and reveal the top 5 cards of your deck to tuck a level 1 underneath your characters. It's basically a free +1 on the board and an accelerated level up, which is so powerful. But the catch here is you need the scene on the field. And that means you need to control the lead lane, you need to have some setup first, and your opponent, they know that and they can counter that. So that is where Arc comes in. Arc's triple rare lets you reveal a level 1 or lower scene card from your hand, destroy your opponent's scene, and then place that scene you just played. So you're not stuck trying to force your way into the lead every game, and you can play from the next seat, from the back seat, kind of see what your opponent's doing first. So Dyna does the disgustingly gross, powerful stuff, and Arc covers its weaknesses and lets you play a lot more flexibly. We're finally at the World Championships, the first ever Ultraman card game Worlds in Tokyo, Japan. 120 competitors from all over the world: Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, China, the Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, Singapore, and one guy from Canada. Shout out to Canada. The whole world came out to play. The structure of the tournament was going to be 7 rounds of Swiss into a top 8 cut, which would be single elimination. And real talk, a top 8 cut for 120 people, that is pretty tough. And you can do the math about how many losses you need, but it always ends up with one conclusion: just keep winning. So that's the plan. We're getting into round 1 versus a Japanese player. He shows the G'd in game 1. I've got my Dyna Arc. I'm playing the A Dyna Arc, B Belial. Arc, A for Arc, B for Belial. That's how I'm going to keep it. I play Dyna Arc till I win, and then we do Belial. So, the G'd versus Dyna Arc. Unfortunately, my opponent had a super bad hand, and it was a pretty easy way to clinch up the win with Dyna. Game number 2, played a little too safe. My opponent drew an insane amount of cards with Wrecking Burst. They had the ability to set up a triple level up, basically, in turn 4. And I didn't expect that. Could have played my triple R Zeton, try to gamble my way around it, but I didn't think he'd have enough level ups to get it all done. Probably should have saw how many cards were in his hand. That's on me. Starting off with the game 3, I mean, stress is starting to pick up a little bit. I would really like to start the tournament off with a win. My opponent reveals the Decker. Unfortunately, a level 2 in lane 1. That means their setup is not ideal. So I just keep to my usual plan, building up slowly with Belial. And lane 2, they play a 2-3. That tells me that they're going to go for a Decker in lane 1 and then build a triple with a quad in lane 2 to set up their BP grade up play. So knowing that, I think, I cook up a juicy plan where I'm going to put my 18k Belial against the triple that he's building, and it will just always win as a 18 versus 17. And then in lane 1, I'll be able to BP boost it with the Belial effect, getting 2 wins, and then I only have to find 1 other win. So I come up with this plan, but as my opponent plays their turn, they level up like everything. They get boom. They level up lane 1, level up lane 2. They play the level 3, and my turn 3 play is a promo Zeton. And I realize if my opponent plays a trigger, because Decker does play some triggers, it will turn off my promo Zeton. And by turning off my promo Zeton, I will lose immediately because I will not have defended myself enough in the first 2 lanes. So I chicken out. I play my usual plan. I play my Belial triple in lane 1, but that makes it a little tricky because my hand is starting to run out of good cards in it. And if I don't get the turn game on lane 4, turn 4, it's going to be pretty dicey. Luckily, my opponent doesn't draw the trigger and be able to close out the game on turn 4 and start off the tournament 1-0, one step closer to that top 8. We go to round number 2. We're going against a USA team kill. My opponent starts off with Tiga Blazar, and I went on the Dyna Clinic. I don't know if my opponent's hand was not great or whatever, but I gave him an opportunity to play Scarred and then immediately destroyed Scarred with my Arc. That deck relying heavily on the Scarred to make its play, so shut him out of the game pretty quickly, pretty solidly there. And then my opponent swamped to a G deck as I busted out the Belial Zeton. And dude, I kind of feel bad about this one. We just hit him with the Zeton extravaganza. Lanes 2 and 3 were both promo Zeton. He didn't have a second Ultra Hero in sight, and lane 4 was a double anti-BP grade up Zeton, which means there's not really much you could do about that. 2-0. Moving on to round number 3 versus a Chinese player. Game 1, my hand was so bad, but I did have a chance to try to save it with the level 2 triple rare Dyna. Unfortunately, it didn't hit the card I needed, and it was a quick 3-1 win for my opponent. And then game number 2, he busts out the Gaia Ghoul. The inconsistency strikes. I didn't have any level 3s, and I won in 3 lanes, the quickest win possible for Ultraman card game. Game 3, I bring out the Belial versus the Gaia, and it was the craziest, most intense game ever. The whole tournament for me. I didn't have the Belial Triple R, so I had to play defense really quickly. I set up 2 14Ks in lane 2 and 3, which helped me survive turn 3 because he didn't have the Gaia Supreme. And then, noticing that he didn't have the Gaia Supreme, I put down my 17K vanilla Belial. It had no effects, but it's enough to contest with the 17,000 that he has in lane 1. And that helps me survive turn 4 as well. And then, turn 5, it's getting a little dicey. We tie turn 5 and move on to turn 6. Turn 6, I go for a big boy double Belial. He's run out of cards at this point. He cannot keep up with what I'm laying down. So his only hope is to try to sneak a win right now. And it goes, there's a tie, and lane 5 was a tie, and then I won lane 6, and then he's got 2 wins. And he thinks he wins lane 1, and I look at it, and I go, wait, no. I've got the 17,000 versus your 17,000. You're not at 18,000. That's a tie. So there was 2 ties on the board on round 6, meaning we moved to round 7. We tie again, and then finally on turn 8, I'm able to close out the game with my double kaiju plays, and I was shaking. But we're still absolutely killing it with 3 wins and 0 losses. Round 4, we're going up against a player from Hong Kong, I believe. We played Jeed. Was his first deck was a Jeed. He got double Wrecking Burst. He got absolutely crazy with the card draw, but Dyna did its thing, got some crazy luck, and I was able to keep up a little bit. But on turn 4, he has level 4 Jeed Claw for plus 1,000, and he boosts up a Galaxy Rise and gives another 2,000, and he finds the win. That was a close one, but we'll have to bring it back. We've got 2 games. We're not out yet. 2 games left. He switches to Tiga Blazer. Has a little bit of an awkward hand, but I did too, and my Dyna hit a triple R I needed, and I was able to just boom, triples. And I was able to bully the lead lane, so he was never able to place that Scar that we're so scared of, okay? You don't want the Scar to hang out. Now, going into game 3, I knew that, and I put on an absolute Belial Masterclass versus Tiga Blazer. I played a 14K Belial in lane 2, no lead. I saved my 18K Belial to play in lane 3, so he does a Tiga swap, but I'm 18K, no lead. And I just kept up the pressure. He was not able to keep up. I even played my 17K in lane 1 again. That card's been so clutch. And without Scar, there wasn't much hope for him to keep the long game going. And we got 2 games in a row to end round 4 with 4 wins and 0 losses. Feeling amazing. And we've got a little break going on. But in the middle of this break and thinking about round 4, I remembered there's a guy playing Ginga Victory next to me. I was like, dang, that's balls. That's more ballsy than me. That's insane. They got the Ginga Victory out here, 4-0 undefeated. Oh man, but that's not good for my Dyna arc. It's a very, very bad matchup. Ginga Victory being one of the decks that was very popular in BPO4 when I chose not to play this exact deck because it was such a bad matchup. So unfortunately for me, round 5, it's my Ginga Victory man. So he opens up the Ginga Victory. He's got a pretty solid hand. I got nothing, and I got absolutely bullied out of the game. I can't get lead for my Dyna. I can't get anything going. And well, it happens. But game 2, he has got the G, but no level 1s. Unfortunately for my opponent, I was able to play strong. And he was very smart. He played a really strong turn 3 play, just level up everything he can. I think he had 2 BP grade ups and a Galaxy Rising to give plus 2k. So he was able to make a 19k in lane number 2, which is going to beat a lot of moves that I have, except the Dyna Power type Exelicine from my discard and give plus 2000 for a 19k, and he runs out of gas, cannot keep up, and we close out game number 2. Coming back to the Belial clutch yet again. The Belial clutch game 3 yet again. I can't believe I called this deck absolute trash. He's got another unfortunate hand with Jeed, and I beat him decisively on turn 3. Couldn't even draw his main level 3, the Jeed Magnificent. 5-0. That means only one more win I need to guarantee myself in the top 8. That's the absolute minimum we're going for. That's what I want to do. One more win. Round 6. Belial. Play against a Belial, and our opponent is from Thailand. Starts off with the Belial. I had the absolute craziest Dyna setups. I think I played 4 or 5 effects. Top 5, all get exactly what I want. Oh, top 5, get exactly what I want. Absolute roulette gods are on my side. Oh man, I don't think I missed a single effect that game. There was really nothing that my opponent could do. Sorry about that still. Game number 2. My opponent swaps onto a Jeed, I believe. But I have my Belial, and I'm happy to dodge that mirror match. And sometimes Jeed hits crazy on the Wrecking Burst, adding 2 cards into hand for 1 effect. I hit crazy on my Belial Mantles, playing 2 of them in 1 game and adding a total of 3 out of 4 cards. He tries to give up on lane 1 to save his cards for the later parts of the game, but my hand is too strong. I got too many cards, and I ended up winning on turn 4, on round 4. So that's it. We did it. 6-0. We've officially solidified our place in the top 8, but you know, we gotta go for one more. We're undefeated. That means we're gonna play the other undefeated player from Swiss rounds. Going to be a Korean player, and he starts off with the Jeed, and the roulette gods were on my side in the last round, in round 6, and they have betrayed me in this game. I get no effects going for Dyna, get absolutely schmooshed out of the game in like 3 or 4 turns, very, very convincingly. Run it back with the Dyna Arc again in game 2. He brings out the Max Z, but it doesn't matter because I miss all my effects again, and basically couldn't play the game for 2 games in a row. The luck had finally run out in round 7, but we already made the top 8. So we're pretty happy about that. And we can't be too mad losing to the eventual 2nd place. 3 more matches, top 8, top 4, and then win. Get it done, get the win. But you gotta do 1 match at a time. We play against the Japanese player Harutaka, or H Harutaka. And game 1, he brings out the Tiga Blazar. We've got the Dyna, but none of effects go our way, and it is a easy win for our opponent. Game number 2, though, Dyna comes out swinging. We're able to claw back a win against Harutaka's Gaia Agul. All comes down to the game 3, the Belial clutch, the deck that I called absolute trash when we got here. In game number 3, it starts off just like round number 3. Versus Gaia Agul, I don't have my Belial Triple R, the linchpin of my deck. But my opponent starts off with an Agul in lane 1. That means if I can get that card, then I'll be able to permanently win that lane for the rest of the game. And the BP grade ups should help me extend and get that long drawn out game that I want. So I play another level 1 Belial to dig for it. And then I go for an aggressive play to try to stay in the game on turn 3, but I did not find that Belial triple rare that I needed. So Harutaka plays a super strong turn 3. Turn 4, it's coming down to the wire. It might be the final turn, but there is some hope, because the Gaia Agul players do not have a lot of Agul level 3s. Maybe I can live. I don't even have my 70k that's been so clutch this whole game. I set up the best board I possibly can. My opponent plays a double, which I beat. He's got the triple, in lane 3, but I have the anti-mono type Zeton, which means if he reveals the rest of his cards as basic, I'll get that lane win. But on lane number 2, he shows me a power type. That means he's winning lane 2 and he's winning lane 3 as well. I don't get the boost from only single types. And lane number 1, I already know the answer to this because he's leveled up. He's got a 17k Agul. I've got a 16k Belial. He wins lanes 1, 2, and 3. And that's it. My hopes for the championship end there. But I'm still really happy with the top 8. Of course, I have to thank the training partners, Gankun and Ilses, for helping me practice so much for this. Gotta shout out Akatsuki for the Dyna inspiration, Morimoto78 for the deck list, and of course all of Team USA for being super chill and so great to meet everyone there. A wonderful time, and hope to see you all next year where we'll be world champions.